All right, welcome back, everybody, to Pro Tabletop. Once again, we're doing faction rankings. We've got Astra Militarum for you today. If you don't know what we're doing, go watch the Space Marines one so you can kind of get a baseline of what we're working off of. Thomas and Damien are joining me on the line, as you can see.
Woohoo!
Make sure you subscribe, turn the notification bell on, because, we're
Brought
just
my
going to be
clip-on
doing
top knot. I
all of
clipped it
this
on for you
content.
guys today.
And you're probably
like-
not going to agree with what we're doing in these videos. You're probably going to be very
We don't
opinionated.
agree with what we're doing.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't see all the pregame arguing before we get on camera.
So, that's what this is about. We're just trying to kind of talk through each faction and what they do. So, defense, Imperial Guard, that's what I'm going to call them because Astra Militarum takes me way too long to say. So, where are they on the defense scale?
Yeah,
Pretty
and
low,
again,
pretty
kind of
low.
defense. Just put that out there, right? It's not just about individual. I can kill a guy
Right.
easily, right? Like custom or death guard. You think I do the defense? It's also about mobility. Can they move around? Be hard to hit, hard to kill. Do they have tons of bodies? That's a defense all on its own. It's hard to get rid of all of them. If you kill 9 out of 10 guys and they are still on the objective, you really haven't done anything, right? So
His leadership doesn't matter, Games Workshop. You didn't
morale
do it
is
right.
morale's a whole different thing now, right? Like hordes don't care about morale. It's just
So, as far as like defense, I mean, it's tanks. They don't really have invulns. They got some,
I put him at a
bunch
7.
of guys.
6.
So Damien's just saying that they're at a 6 right out of the gate.
right out of the gate. And I think they have some tough tanks. Toughness 8 is pretty meaningful against a decent amount of weapons.
Bulgarins are pretty nasty.
They can take a lot of guys, like spamming tons of little cheap infantry guys. Yeah, they did go up, but like in 9th edition, like those guys move fast, and then they can just be on an objective and snake it away from you if you don't have enough OPSEC. It's just annoying. Take chimeras, just have bunkers for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think a 6 is pretty good because, like, right, Space Marines are at an 8. They're definitely not as defensible as them. They're a little bit easier to kill. Yeah, you can kill their tanks and stuff. How does that correlate to playing 9th and everything like that? I think I'm pretty good with the 6. I don't think that there's a huge argument for me to make them go higher
Up
than
to
that.
7. Yeah. Okay, I'm fine with 6.
Although, I know I said that, but Red Powell, I don't know if you guys know him. I don't even know if I should be dropping his name, actually, but I am. So, Red, if you get mad at me, text me later about it. I'm sorry. But he has a plan for guards that I think it's just mass bodies, man. And so if you take enough bodies, kind of like what Bird said, because they are cheap, and if you take enough of them, can you kill that many?
It's another local around here, Andrew Whitaker, has a guard list. I want to spoil all the secrets of his list, but depending on how they change it, if they drop some changes in Forge Roll, like he uses a lot of Deathcore Krieg and stuff, like Deathcore horses, those little centaur transports with grenadiers inside, like he's got a lot of fast moving guys that get some pre-games that could just hem you in. You could just I go first, and now I'm blocking your board. You're not coming out on the primary, and you're forced to deal with the chaff in front of you just to get movement, while all the the heavy tanks, artillery, and commanders are just bombing away at you, right? So we kind of force the issue. So, how does that relate to defense? I don't know, but like blocking you in your movement with tons of little cheap Jews, that's a defense all on its own. Now it's forcing your target priority the wrong way, right? Like I don't want to shoot this crap stuff. I want to shoot the things that are killing me, but I have to because they're scoring primary or they're stopping me from being scored primary.
So you thinking a 7 then?
I kind of give it a little bit. I kind of think a 7. Is that defense? Yeah, let's give it to him.
Let's go 7.
Give him the benefit.
So offense.
Pretty good, man. They're on in my very humble opinion, I think they're almost up there with that, for real.
They can shoot a lot, but I mean, are they suffering a lot from all the terrain? Like, if you have any force anywhere, like the -1 hits punishing on them. Like, they can pop a +1 here or there. They do have tank commanders hitting on 3s, but
they are suffering. They do suffer.
And
but
if you have too much line of sight blocking, like it can limit the tanks and where they shoot, or if they get to shoot double because now they got to move a lot more.
But they do have a lot of, well, even if they move a lot more, they can still make that one.
They
tank
don't.
that
They
shoot
don't really
twice.
have. They don't have a psychic phase. Their close combat phase is little to none, right? Unless it's maybe Rough Riders or Bulgrin.
I mean, you say they don't have a psychic
I
phase,
mean,
but
you can definitely gear up the little, cash-ins with Strachan or whatever, and try to play the Strength 4 mass attacks game. But I don't know that that's really relevant as much these days in ninth. I just haven't played a lot of games against them.
I've played a couple against them, and their shooting has been so friggin' annoying. He did roll fairly hot in his defense for this, so I don't know. I
You
say
want
they
to go
gotta be.
9 on shooting?
No, I think you
Well,
put him in 8.
well,
I
so
think you put him in 8.
yeah, so like in other ones we've been taking off if it's like their psychic phase isn't really strong and like their combat
true.
phase and stuff like that. So it's like
Their combat phase does suck.
if their shooting phase is that good though, is it diminished a point because
That's all they do is shoot, right? I mean,
Yeah, I guess put them in 7. Put them in 7.
yeah,
Because
because
they can't combat.
because their shooting can be diminished, that hurts them. Same reason as Tau, right? Where it's like you have these forests, you have all these -1s to hit. You could see terrain where you could just outplay the tanks, and make it so they can't shoot at you and stuff like that. So I am pretty good with that. Primary, I mean, they're going to play it really good if you're doing bodies, right?
yeah, I think if you play the all tank game, you're going to struggle a little bit because you want some obsec, you want some movement. Tanks typically want to stay back and not get touched.
Unless you
Whereas-
just load, but like, dude, you could just load transports up with guys and stuff. Like, you could play the same boat full of guys game that everybody else can for cheaper, right? Like, it's
Yeah, those guys move so fast. You can't underestimate how fast.
Run.
They got
Run.
is
just so
Yeah.
strong for this for 9th edition primary. So
Yeah,
stinking
I
strong.
honestly think that they can play if you are playing 9th and you're building lists to play the primary, you can successfully beat out a lot of other armies in primary.
Yeah,
I think you can kill stuff off of primary. You can go and take it. You can contest it easily. You can hold
you can
it.
bunker up on your own. Yeah.
I think that's where they excel is playing the missions.
Yeah, I agree with
Secondaries. Now they do give up quite a bit
They
on
give up.
secondaries.
They give up.
They give up a lot, but they can also do a lot too.
Yes.
That's the
that.
thing.
They can do a lot. They got a ton of infantry squads to do all the action-based secondaries. They're very fast movement-wise with those guys. They're cheap, so you can put a lot of guys in reserve if you want to, and not spend a ton of CP.
And it's interesting, right? Like for doing actions, because they can move, they don't have to advance, right? So they can do these actions and still not be taken away from
Your
them.
move is advancing. It's running.
Is it?
It is.
You sure about that? Because they roll in advance. They can roll in advance. They can advance and move, and then they can.
I'm like 95% sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I give you 5%, but you can look it up. But I'm pretty
How do
sure.
what do I even look up? I don't even know what I'm supposed to look up. Like, is move in advance? How do I even find that out?
Go look
Google
up
it. Type it in Google. It's your best friend. So do you think that they're a 9? Like they give up big game pretty easily. Like almost any guard list is going to give that up, right?
If they have lots of bodies, potentially they can do thin the line. I don't know if you're going to get kill more. It's probably the better choice over thin the line, but maybe not because if they're shooting you off the board, I don't know.
So probably around an 8, just because they're giving you kill secondary choices pretty easy.
Like thin the line. They're going to give that up. So they're usually going to give up both, right? To be honest, like
they're good at blocking. Like with lots of guys, it's hard to get. Unless you just obliterate their units, they can screen you out very effectively. So it's hard to put guys in reserve against them early on because if you're not destroying big chunks of their army to like open a hole for you, you're not coming in on turn 2 or 3 in a good spot with the way they can just run like casually and block a big chunk of the board. So
do you think that they need to be a 9? Do you think that what they give up is not enough to what they score?
To counter that, yeah, I think a 9 is really strong for them. Is that too much? I would give them a 9.
Okay.
Just for that flexibility.
CP farm, I literally couldn't even tell you what they do.
Well, they lost that big, they lost the specialist attachment, which really helped their artillery. So that was a lot of pregame spend that they would buy these specialist attachments and relics. So I don't know that they necessarily spend a lot there.
They have pretty good stratagems that let their tanks function. They have something that can let them function at full. They can move. Their full thing is still fire twice.
You got max payload stuff, so you can always
max payload.
So they got some good strats that they're going to spend on, and they can get cheap guys to regen.
And they're pretty cheap, really, to spend it.
And
the CP.
And if they're out of CP, do they care? Like, do they really care if they run out of CP? If they even do run out of CP?
I don't think so.
Not terribly. Not terribly.
Yeah, I don't think their army really suffers from like lack of CP. Yeah, there's a couple strats that you're like, I want to use it, but
but you look at other armies and like
up
they
to 10%
get
if you don't have a CP, right? Yeah.
So like they're not reliant on them. They have good stratagems. They're low costing. They don't have big pregame spend. Where's the negatives on them? Sweet, none. They're getting 10.
I can't think of any. I hate to give them a 10. It just sounds wrong. But let us know in the comments if we missed something. Like if you're running out of CP constantly, like what are you doing with them?
What is happening to this army? God, because their list flexibility is gonna be really high too. Dadgummit, they can just not do anything.
I mean, a lot of people out there are saying that this is how good they are, though. A lot of people are saying that they are really good.
So why is their list flex high? I mean, they have a lot of units. They're going to take guard guys. They're going to take tanks. Like
they have the option of taking heavy weapon specialist teams. They have the option of taking. You see people take all different kinds of tanks, like with all different kinds of loadouts. You have the airplanes, which are pretty good.
You got Scions to drop.
You got Scions are amazing. Like everybody, you can take them. Bullgrins are another thing that you could easily put into a list are like viable. You have Rough Riders that are like also, to your point, Bird, like they're viable. Like, and then So now
as the meta
bust over the regular Rough Riders, but I think that will be. That's just kind of, you don't really see horses very often, but they do make a good unit to kind of block and screen out the board.
So they've got just about like any tanks that have any weapons on them, right? So you can be like, oh, here's what the meta is. I need tanks that are lower number of shots and big damage, or I need tanks that are this. I mean, right? They can outflank their tanks now. They got tanks that have flamers. There's a lot of options for them to literally just be able to say, hey, this is what the meta is. What do I need to shift my list to be to play that meta, right? If it's an all horde meta, then they can throw bodies at you and tanks that have blast, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean the flexibilities that the only flexibility they really don't have would be if for some reason it is an all melee meta. They really can't do much against that because you can't just go make like a Bullgrim only list. Because you're only going to be able to take 3 squads. So like they lose in that fact of I need stuff that can go and touch in combat against other high combat stuff to take objectives. That's really the only thing they lose. They lose their flexibility in is if you need that. Maybe it's a point only. Yes, no, maybe so. I don't know.
Yeah, take a point off, I guess.
Because like if Space Marines are a 10 and they have the abilities to have all of
melee,
all of that stuff, they do
I
not
agree.
match Space Marines in list flexibility, at least in that fact.
Right.
I agree.
They honestly might get 2 points down.
That might be two taken off.
I kind of agree. I think
I have we gotta wait on this video a little bit because I've got some people working on the question about move right now. So we'll find out in just a moment. It's being verified.
What are you talking about? No, I have to look it up myself.
I have it being verified by professionals. Okay. That's all you need to know. So
look the guard book in just like 2 seconds.
Go ahead, go look at that.
Okay. Well, that doesn't really affect anything for scoring wise. So, guys, this is about to
Where does this line up?
This is about to be a doozy.
Oh my god. I can hear the comments now.
All right, are you ready?
How many? No.
Lay it on me. They look high right now.
It's an S.
It's 51. It's S.
Oh, get out of town. Get out of town. No way. No way.
I mean, yes way, dude. It is a good army. It is a good freaking army. We just went over it, Bird.
I think there's 100 guard players out there screaming right now, like, what?
But that's
game are
fine.
y'all playing?
Well, then if you're
That's
screaming
fine.
out, learn how to play your army better. Scrubs. Go win some tournaments. Get better.
Oh my goodness. I did not say that. That's Damien.
I did. Damien Owens said it. Comment about it.
I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, right, we talked all the points. If we're wrong on some of the points, let us know what you think and where it's wrong. But they have the tools to do stuff. Now,
Paper.
it's going to be certain lists in 9th, right? You can't just say, hey, you can go and pick out whatever it is that you want and it's going to go and win you games. You have to build it to play 9th, to play the missions, to play secondaries, to counter the other armies that are out there. But they have the ability to do all of that stuff. And that's merely what we're rating them on.
That's really it. So here, Damien, because I took 2 seconds to get the answer, I didn't have to send people out to get it. Move right here, right? So instead of shooting this phase, the ordered unit immediately moves as if it were the movement phase. It must advance as part of this move and cannot declare a charge this turn.
There you go. Boom.
All right. Boom. There you go.
Get out of town.
Excellent job. You were one of the people that I put out there for doing that. So that you come through.
Got me.
There's your answer.
All right, so that's where the Guard are going to land. They're going to be our first S tier. Obviously, go ahead, chew us up, say we don't know what we're talking about. That's perfectly fine. We'll get some battle reports with some Guard players out there just to see how they stand up against other things. And obviously, we can adjust stuff in the future. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun things, and we'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.